What if everything you thought you knew about heroes and villains was wrong? What if Scar wasn't just a power-hungry lion, but a champion for the hyenas? What if King Triton wasn't an overbearing dad, but actually was the only thing standing between Ariel and a lifetime of regret? And Ferris Bueller? Maybe he's not the fun-loving icon we think he is. Maybe he's just a manipulative slacker.
You're a slacker.
Think about it. Diesels in Thomas the Tank Engine were just tired of being second-class citizens. The hyenas in The Lion King? They were starving while Mufasa hoarded the zebras. And don't even get me started on Hermione's fight with the Elfrights in Harry Potter. She was trying to end magical slavery, people. These so-called villains, they've got the point. And maybe, just maybe, we've been rooting for the wrong side all along.
You don't know that!
I'm the only one who knows that.
So buckle up, because today we're flipping the script and giving these misunderstood misfits the spotlight that they deserve. Alright, this one's a wild ride on the rails. So you thought Thomas and his cheerful chug-along friends were just puffing around, having a good jolly old time, right? Wrong! Enter the day of the diesels, where these supposedly sweet trains show their true colors. It's the tale of the diesel engines, those long-suffering, often villainized characters in the series who finally snap. I mean, can you blame them? They've been treated like second-class citizens just because they run on diesel, not steam. Talk about fuel discrimination. These guys have had enough of being sidelined and ignored, and who wouldn't? Imagine being neglected and treated unfairly just because you're, well, different. So they decided to stand up for themselves. And honestly, it's about time. But oh no, the show paints them as the bad guys for wanting a bit of respect and equal treatment. It's the classic tale of misunderstood rebels, only these rebels are locomotives with a serious grudge. The irony here is delicious. Diesels, often seen as the more environmentally friendly option in real life, getting the cold shoulder in a kid's show. It's like watching the underdog get kicked when they're down. If that doesn't get your steam up, I don't know what will. So the next time you tune in, maybe root for the diesels, because everyone loves a good underdog story, especially when it's about trains that have had enough of playing nice on the tracks. Often seen as the more environmentally friendly option in real life, well, compared to coal, there is no such thing as clean coal, people. Hold on to your honey, because this flick stings with absurdity. Imagine a world where a bee sues humans over honey theft and falls for a human lady. Normal so far?
I think not!
Enter the boyfriend, cast as the villain for, get this, not wanting his girlfriend to date a bee. Outrageous, right? He's practically the only person in this bizarre bee movie who makes any sense. Watching your significant other swap sweet nothings with a bee would make anyone's wrist buzz with jealousy. The real kicker, we're supposed to root against him. This movie takes the "it's not you, it's me" to a whole new level, where it's not you, it's the bee she's after. If that's not peak ridiculousness, I don't know what is. Bee-phobia is real, people, and strangely it's called epiphobia. Pop gun. So you've got this hotshot pilot who thinks the sky's no limit when it comes to breaking the rules.
Greetings!
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash.
Then comes his icy counterpart, Mr. Rules Are My Middle Name.
You're everyone's problem.
Constantly on our Maverick's case for his daredevil antics. It might seem like this stickler is just out to kill the vibe, but hold up, aren't we talking about fighter jets here? This isn't bumper cars at the county fair. Real lives are at stake. In the real world, the careful guy don't just save lives. He makes sure everyone gets to go home for dinner, instead of being blasted out of the sky. Sure, it's cool to watch our rebel hero dodge consequences like he dodges enemy fire, but maybe, just maybe, the guy preaching safety isn't such a buzzkill after all. The Little Mermaid. Here's a splashy tale of a young mermaid who trades her voice for legs to chase a guy she's never actually spoken to. Daddy Triton's not thrilled, and why would he be? His daughter's about to throw her life away for some shoreside fling.
Humans? What about humans?
But no, let's paint him as a sea monster for not handing over his blessings along with her voice. Let's be real. Triton is basically every parent watching their teen make questionable life choices and thinking, maybe I should ground you before you trade your fins for feet. Next time you watch, remember, sometimes the villain is just a dad trying to keep his kid from making a deal that is all foam and no beer.
Your Majesty.
Out in the sun they slave away.
Sono arrivato qui. Sam.
28 weeks later, zombies, London, and extreme military measures. It happened before on the 5th of November, and it sounds like a recipe for a calmed, reasoned response, right? Not exactly. When a virus threatens to turn everyone into rage monsters, the military steps in with some pretty intense strategies. Firebombing infected areas might seem harsh from the couch, but when you're one bite away from zombie doomsday, it's all hands and flamethrowers on deck. This isn't your average let's talk it out scenario. It's kill or be killed. You've seen it in real life when a global pandemic strikes. And sometimes the people making the tough calls can look like a little bit villainous, especially when they're torching the scenery. But when the alternative is a world tour for the undead, maybe a little fire isn't so bad. Wear your mask, assholes. The Lion King. Ah, the circle of life, where sometimes you find yourself rooting for the hyenas. Yes, those cackling canines. In a kingdom ruled by lions, these guys are the outcasts. Always scrounging on the outskirts. But when Scar offers them a slice of the pie, can you blame them for jumping at the chance? It's easy to paint them as villains, but in the wild, it's eat or be eaten, and they're just trying to move up the food chain. So the next time you watch these majestic lions ruling the roost, remember, not everyone in Pride Rock is getting a fair share of the zebra.
Could you tell me your name?
My name? I thought I gave it to you, dear.
No.
Oh. Doubtfire.
I beg your pardon?
Mrs. Doubtfire may seem like a light-hearted comedy about a father going to the extreme lengths to stay close with his kids, but it also raises important questions about parenting during a divorce. While Daniel's antics are framed as comedic and heroic, Miranda's concerns aren't baseless. She's trying to protect her children from chaos. Divorce is rarely simple, and sometimes the hard decisions, like keeping distance from a disruptive parent, are made out of love, not spite. Ultimately, though, the story isn't about who's right or wrong, but about two parents learning how to create a stable environment for their kids, even after separation.
It's a fray!
Starship Troopers. Welcome to the future, where humans are locked in a deadly dance with giant alien bugs on a distant planet. It's easy to cheer for the home team.
Service guarantees citizenship.
But wait a second, aren't we the aliens this time? These bugs are just defending their turf. And if the roles were reversed, we would probably do the same. It's a gory, glorious mess of a war movie that makes you think maybe the real bad guys are the ones who start wars, not the ones who defend their homes. So next time you see a bug squash on the big screen, remember, they might just be the underdogs of their own story. Jack and the Beanstalk. Let's talk about Jack, the boy who trades his cow for magic beans, climbs the beanstalk, and decides to swipe a giant's gold. Classic hero stuff, right? Wrong. Here's a kid who breaks into someone's house and makes off with the loot. And when the giant comes after him, what does he do? He chops down the beanstalk, sending the giant to a bone-crushing demise. It's a story that teaches us that if you're going to commit burglary, at least do it fair. But maybe, the next time we tell it, let's not be so quick to cheer for the thief. Sing. Here's the deal. A koala named Buster is trying to save his theater and figures a singing competition might just do the trick. The only problem, he's not exactly straight with how he goes about it. Fudging numbers, creating false hopes, you name it, Buster's done it. And the bank trying to collect on his failed ventures? They're painted as the big bad wolves. It's a foot-tapping feel-good movie, but it's also a little lesson in ethics, served out with a side of catchy tunes. Maybe it's time to give the bank a break. After all, they're just trying to keep the lights on too. Either that or put your words into action and play Luigi's Mansion. Dirty Dancing. The summer of '63. Full of dance, romance, and parental disapproval? Here's the scoop. Baby falls for her dance instructor Johnny at the holiday resort, but Daddy's not having it. He thinks Johnny's bad news, especially after a misunderstanding involving another girl's pregnancy. It might seem like he's just another protective parent, but let's cut the guy some slack. He's just looking out for his daughter, trying to keep her from making a mistake that could do the cha-cha on her future. It's a story that makes you want to dance, but also makes you think about the steps we take to protect the ones we love. High School Musical. So you got this high school musical where the new kids, Troy and Gabriella, swoop in and snag the lead roles from the seasoned theater buffs Ryan and Sharpay. It's easy to root for the fresh faces, but hold up. What about the dues paid by the ones who have been in the trenches, rehearsing day in and day out? Sometimes it's not just about who's got a fresh take, but also who's put in the work. It's a peppy, poppy drama that teaches us that sometimes the spotlight really ought to stay to those who earned it, and not just the charming newcomer. School of Rock. Imagine a failed rocker posing as a sub and turning a class of prim and proper kids into a rock band. Sounds epic, right? But here's a twist. The principal's girlfriend thinks this is a recipe for disaster because, well, it is. She's not the fun police, okay? She's just the only adult in the room thinking about things like safety and responsibility. Rockin' good time for sure, but maybe, just maybe, the party pooper has a point. After all, there's time and place for smashing guitars, and it's probably not during math class. Do your homework.
Master has presented Dobby with clothes. Dobby is free.
Harry Potter. In a world where magic is real and adventures are the daily grind, there's a young witch, Hermione, who's got a bone to pick with the way house elves are treated. Laughed off as a side quest by her friends, her fight for elf rights isn't just about after-school activism. It's about spotlighting an uncomfortable truth in a magical world. These elves aren't just background characters. They're a downtrodden group, and Hermione is the only one pulling back the curtain of their plight.
I can't believe it. She's done
It's a subplot that adds depth and a touch of realism in a fantasy world, reminding us that even in magical realms, justice has to be fought for.
Smile, you son of a...
Jaws. Picture this, a killer shark on the loose in a small beach town. But instead of closing the beaches, the town officials keep them open for the sake of tourism bucks. Enter the shark who's not evil but just doing shark things, and you've got a recipe for disaster. It's a thrilling chase, but it's also a biting commentary on how greed can Donald Trump common sense.
And we will be open for business.
The real monster here isn't the one in the water, it's the one who's counting the cash. The movies ought to be called Trump or something. Picard. Returning to the cosmos with an older, wiser Picard, we dive into a crisis involving synthetic beings and deep-seated prejudice. The Romulans, scarred by past disasters, are not too keen on these artificial folks. It's easy to paint them as the villains for holding back progress, but their fears aren't pulled from thin air. They've seen bad stuff go down, and their trepidation reflects a very human, or should I say Romulan, instinct to protect oneself from a repeated harm. It's a complex tapestry of fear, prejudice, and survival, challenging viewers to think about how we handle the unknown and the consequences of past traumas on future decisions.
We're done here.
Never heard of Evel Knievel?
The Man with a Golden Gun. In a twisty plot of espionage, we've got a villain who's crafted a solar energy technology that threatens to shake up the global energy market. While he's got his sights on the big bucks and even bigger disruptions, his genius invention could actually do some good, especially talking about the environment. But no, he's the baddie here because he's messing with oil, the lifeblood of economy. Slick reminder that innovation can be as threatening as it is compromising, depending on which side of the profit you're on. This tale spins a narrative where the line between hero and villain blurs, dependent more on perspective than on actual action.
Look, I can save you. I can help you. You are sick, and I can help.
Here's a chilling scenario. The last human alive faces off against a world of mutilated beings. It's easy to root for human survival, but from another angle, our lone protagonist is the terror in the night, the boogeyman that haunts the new inhabitants of the Earth. This story flips the script of the survival narrative, asking us who the real monster is when one man's survival means the end for a lot of people. It's a gripping exploration of morality, isolation, and the innate human fear of being replaced or becoming obsolete. Here's Ferris, the king of hooky, weaving his web of lies for a day off filled with adventures. But lurking in the shadows is the principal, hell-bent on catching him in the act. Sure, the principal might come off as a bit obsessive, but isn't he just trying to do his job? Meanwhile, Ferris manipulates everyone around him with a smile. It's a fun ride, but when you peel back the layers, it's also a study on how charm can excuse even the most selfish antics. So the next time you cheer for Ferris, remember, behind every skipped class is a frustrated principal just trying to keep things on track. Stay in school, kids.
In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the... Anyone?
Battleship. Imagine aliens come to Earth and instead of attacking, they set up a defense. Humans, being humans, attack first. This film paints the aliens as the bad guys, but really, they are just reacting to our hostility. It's a classic tale of fear and misunderstanding leading to conflict. We're quick to assume the worst, but this story challenges us to consider our actions and their impact on others, especially if those others are from another planet. The Rock. San Francisco is under threat from a group of rogue military men who has taken Alcatraz and are now threatening to launch chemical weapons unless their demands are met. Their leader, a revered general, isn't after money or power. He's fighting for recognition and compensation for the families of soldiers who died in secrecy under his command. While his methods are extreme, yes, his motives stem from a profound sense of injustice. It's a thrilling scenario that digs into the complexities of duty, honor, and the shadows that linger in military secrecy. This general might be breaking the law, but he's also trying to mend the deeper moral breach left by a system that values secret over lives. Each of these stories waves a narrative that challenges conventional labels of heroes and villains, inviting the viewer to look deeper into the motives and morals that drive each character. By flipping perspective and exposing the gray areas, these films and shows encourage a more nuanced understanding of conflict, both on screen and in the real world. Think about it. Every villain has a story. Every misunderstood character has a reason for their actions. Haven't we all ever felt left out, judged, or sidelined at some point? The Diesels were tired of being overshadowed. The hyenas just wanted a fair shot. And even Jack the Giant Slayer, maybe he was just a desperate kid trying to make ends meet. These aren't just fictional stories. They are reflections of struggles we face every day. Fairness, belonging, justice. So who's the real villains here? The shark just doing what sharks do? The strict parents trying to protect their kids? Or maybe, just maybe, it's our own rush to judge and categorize people or characters without looking deeper. These stories aren't just entertainment, they're a mirror. And when we flip the perspective, we see the lines between hero and villain. They are blurrier than ever imagined. So the next time you watch your favorite movies or shows, ask yourself, who's really the underdog? Whose voice isn't being heard? And who's fighting for something we're too quick to dismiss? If this resonated with you, share this video, drop a comment below about your favorite misunderstood character, and let's keep the conversation going, because every story deserves to be seen from all sides. Woke up, people.
And that is destiny fulfilled.